Charles Onujaiju is an expert on Chinese affairs in Africa. He says China's core principle of international relations and its dialogue to secure global peace is entrenched in multilateralism.
China from day one recognized that others may have different paths, others might have different systems, but its very core principle of international relations is respect for the choice other people have made. This is the core principle of multilateralism. Multilateralism is recognition of different actors in the international system, engaging them on the basis of peaceful coexistence, engaging them on the basis of what they are, not wanting them to become what you want. So this is the core principle. So China, from its very founding of modern China, is anchored on that principle that promotes multilateralism, that promotes dialogue and consultation as the core principle of international relations. And these principles are all encapsulated in the founding principles of the United Nations.
In 2000, the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation was set up to further strengthen friendly cooperation, meet the challenge of economic globalization, and to promote common development between China and Africa. China-Africa Cooperation has expanded significantly since then.
China is still Africa's largest trading partner. The trade has grown to almost more than $200 billion per year and is still rising. And we have seen a number of critical engagements. The founding of FOCAC added momentum. In 2015, the iconic Johannesburg Summit of China-Africa, President Xi outlined 10 cooperation plans, which included agricultural modernization, infrastructure construction, and production capacity cooperation. And then we could see a whole range of outcomes. The Mombasa Nairobi rail line, almost 5,000 kilometers. The first electrified railway in Africa between Ethiopia and Djibouti. 7 days trip before, now cut down to almost 8 hours. In Nigeria, we've seen critical outcomes of this engagement. The Lekki free trade area, where you have more than 45 Chinese companies participated. Ogungwandon free trade area in Ogun State, also with over 30 Chinese companies operating, and helping transfer technology, generating employment.
What impact would you say Chinese investments have had on Nigerians and indeed Africa?
Well, for Nigeria, it's been game-changing. It can be seen. The road network, the railway, the ports. Of course, we cannot forget the rehabilitation of key airports. The rehabilitation, China has built 13,000 kilometers of roads, railways, and bridges in Africa. Build power plants, build airports, and these are all significant game changers. China cannot clap alone. For Africa to reap the full benefit of the historic opportunity of China, we need to meet China halfway. We need to respond in policy positions, not emotional, not just we watch and see. We move on our own, meet China halfway.
Now, there seems to be a growing influence of China at the United Nations, looking at its support for reforms like economic development, peace, and security. Briefly talk to us about that and how that is being perceived.
China has been a strong voice in the advocacy for reforms. China has been a strong voice in the advocacy for negotiated settlement of issues, for building more capacity, for international support, for Africa to build more capacity, to engage not only her problem, but also become a much more active member in dousing international tensions and engaging security challenges. So to that extent, China is a prime reformer, advocate of reform, a prime advocate of African increased capacity to engage not only its own problems, but engage the problem of the rest of the world, to build capacity for collective security and promote peace on a global scale.
Now, talk to us about China's peacekeeping initiatives in Africa, including the recent appointment of a special envoy to the Horn of Africa.
Well, since 32 years ago, China has been absolutely involved. It's the second largest contributor to peacekeeping, UN peacekeeping. Is the second largest, largest contributor of all members of the permanent members of the Security Council. on peacekeeping. He's been an outstanding peacekeeper and has never looked back in that respect. China believes that development is only possible in peaceful atmosphere. While the output of the CPC 20th Congress will be essentially domestic, its consequences will have global ramification. And I can assure you it will only have that kind of impact of growing global prosperity, ensuring global peace. We will see a re-energized China engaging the world robustly, sharing her prosperity more broadly, engaging the rest of the world, energizing the global economy, contributing to global development, and generating huge expanse of space for global engagement.
Right. Thank you so much for having us.